Hello guys, this is Ishang from Infodroid Tech, and today I'm going to be talking about mobile application development. The term application development is used to refer to the activity of computer programming, which is the process of writing and maintaining the source code for mobile devices. Now, I know that what I just said is just a bit boring and hard to understand, but here I am trying to explain all of that. So let's see. Today, smartphones are everywhere. Everyone has either iPhone, Android, Windows Phone, or BlackBerry. In each cases, there is a different operating system, different apps. They all have their own platform developer network, and one person can spend a lifetime on any one of these platforms. I'll try to explain all of them along with why you shouldn't get into these. So, let's start with the three things you can learn. First, Android application development, iOS app development, and Windows mobile development. Primarily as an Android developer, I am inclined to Android, but other platforms are also highly sought out in the app dev job market. The reason is mainly because of the open source nature of Android or Windows. While, as a user's perspective, it is far better, but when it comes to monetization, iOS is better, and the reason is because iOS users are far more likely to purchase app or do in-app purchases. For example, you may dread the fact that your favorite song costs 20 rupees on iTunes, but this is the good news for publisher of that song. Due to their security, you can't even download music. While you can pretty much do anything in Android, but this just forces the developer to include ads in the apps, causing user experience to go down. While you can argue WhatsApp or other apps don't have ads, but there's a reason for that. As they have their methods, for example, the primary source of their revenue is said to be from data mining and targeted ads, according to some, which I'm not sure is fair or ethical. So let's let's choose which platform is best for you. I'll show you what you need to do for learning any every one of those platforms. Now the three things I'll explain are Android, Windows, and iOS. Firstly, let's just go with Android. Okay, here I am at the Android's official website. You can see, if you already have an Android phone, you can see there's the sixth version is the newest one right now, but there's news of next version of Android N coming about. So we'll just see. So first of all, there's the Android is available for many devices such as Android Wear. Samsung also has its own Wear, Galaxy S. I think phones, tablets, TV. So Android is owned by Google. And then let's see what I need to do to develop. So I'll just go to developer Android. Okay, there's a preview for Android nth version, developer preview. We'll talk about that later. So basically what you need right now in order to develop apps is Android developer tools. So the tools you require for Android is Android SDK and an IDE. IDE is basically integrated development environment. What that does is it's like a code editor. It's nothing more than that, but it the Android Studio is very rich in features. So in order to develop apps for Android, you need to have this IDE Android. You can also use Eclipse, but it was discontinued. Then there is next. Android is based on IntelliJ platform. So then all okay. This is all the information that you require to go through. So first of all, it's on IntelliJ JetBrains. Then it has Gradle based built-in system. You can use Maven or Gradle. It builds APKs. APKs is the direct apps app extension. Like WhatsApp has WhatsApp.apk file, which installs on your Android devices. Okay. Okay, all I need to do is just download Android Studio. It's like 1.2 GB file. I have already installed it, and I have also made a blog post about how to install it and then making your first app, uh, which you'll find in the description of this video. Now let's see system requirements. Okay, that's the system requirements are modest for Android Studio. 2 GB RAM, 4 GB RAM recommended, 2 GB minimum. Windows 8 7. I'm running on Windows 10. I don't have any problem right now. uh, the emulator is good, but I also have BlueStack emulator, which we'll get into later. Okay, then there is hard disk space. It runs on Mac, Linux, and Windows. uh, you can either download the whole package or the SDK tools only and run it without an IDE, but I don't recommend. You should just follow. Then these are just tips and tools. Okay, what I like about Android, due to its open source nature, you can find thousands of Android codes. You won't have any problem with examples, tutorials. There are more than enough tutorials for Android than you will ever need. Also, their development network is very large, and they provide good support. Okay, now next thing, let's go for iOS development, the next most important path you can go down. I'm here for iOS development. Let's see what they have in for me. First of all, let me tell you something. For iOS development, the biggest problem, hurdle, I think, for new developer is that you need a Mac machine. It can be MacBook Air or whatever, with preferably with OS 9 above 9. So just the problem is that it costs a little too much for not it's not for like anyone cannot buy it on a whim if you don't have a Mac device. I wouldn't recommend going into this right now because it has a little bit of capital investment. Also, if you publish your app, you have to take an account for 1 year. You have to purchase an account. But if after you suspend your account after 1 year, what happens to your app? They just delete it. If you cannot buy another subscription for another year, they delete your app. Doesn't matter if it has even monetized or even broke even in your development than your development cost. So I would not recommend a outright beginner to go into iOS development. So but iOS development has its merit, as you can easily, if you have content, you can easily make money because monetization is not that hard. While in Android apps, people tend not to buy in do in-app purchases that much. So I would recommend you going through every aspect before getting into any of the app development, be it Android, iOS, or Windows. So just like Android Studio for Windows, you have Xcode for Apple mobile application development, iOS development basically. You write code in Objective C for this. Swift is based on Objective C. It's just a framework. Mind that none of these are core languages. Android app development is a framework for Java and XML, which is extensible markup language, while iOS employs Objective C. Now that we have gone through iOS development, third thing we'll look at is Windows mobile app development. Okay, so I've just opened a website. What I need is Microsoft Visual Studio. That's actually FLOSS, free liveware open source software. I don't think you would have a hard time getting this. You can obviously run it on Windows machine. SDK is the standard development kit. For Android there is one, for iOS there is one. I mean, let's see Windows mobile app dev. So I had talked about installing. You can easily install Visual C++. They have proper support for Windows. You already have .NET in your PC, I'm sure, if you run games and all. You write code in .NET in Windows. .NET is a framework for, but I think their market is not that good right now. Windows app development is not that good of a market to go into as compared to iOS and Android. Next thing, for alternative to all of these things, sometimes when I'm an employer, either I can have a web developer, Android developer, iOS developer, Windows developer. I need to deploy my application on all of these platforms. So instead of getting a dedicated developer system for all of them, instead of hiring four guys, I can just hire one person to do cross-platform development. Now, what is cross-platform development? I'll just show you. Cross-platform development, when you want to deploy your web app to multiple platforms, just like BlackBerry, Windows, iOS, Android, doesn't matter, because every one of these platform can run JavaScript and have inbuilt engine just like a browser. You can either dedicate yourself to a single platform development, or you can go for cross platform development. In cross platform development, you just write code in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So mostly it's like a website, preloaded website on your phone. So when you develop in cross platform, it gets very easy if you are a one person and want to make an app for every platform. Best IDE, I think one of the best is Intel XDK. Intel XDK is just like a platform to make HTML5 apps. Now, HTML5 apps are all supported in every one of these iOS, Android, and all. So you won't have a problem with it. The main problem why everyone is not using this is because native apps, the apps that develop on native platform like Android Studio for Android, Swift on iOS, they don't have that native kind of feel, and user can come to know about it. So I don't think it's that bad of an idea. But if you're going for web development, then this is an easy way out to get all of the stuff done in a single go. So my verdict is that choose what is best for you. Try to stay away from Windows, or if you're an outright beginner and doesn't don't know about anything about mobile application development, Android is your best friend right now. So go focus on that. Also, if you have some web development knowledge, you can go for Intel XDK, or if you have a little bit of knowledge for Objective C, you can go for iOS development. Thank you, and this will be all. And please stay tuned and subscribe and like and comment. Thank you very much. Signing out.